Hi, everyone. This is Michael Crosa here, director of the podcast. And of course, I'm with my cat, Happy Bob, who you might hear purring. I wanted to come on and let you know that we're going to be taking a little break from producing Jollyville Radio for a few months. I don't know about you, but now that life isn't locked down quite so much anymore, things are just different. Some of it is great, like I'm really excited that I can get out and explore, I can go see friends and meet their friends. And then some of it feels a little stressful, like with all the day-to-day errands and responsibilities, life just feels more busy than it did before. Either way, the folks here at Jollyville decided that we should give ourselves some time to enjoy being with others. You know, enjoying the long days of summer and just otherwise looking anywhere but our Zoom screen. We had already recorded 2 extra Community Beat interviews, and we thought it was worthwhile to just go ahead and share them now. We may use them in future episodes too, but we couldn't hide the light that these people bring to the world. So, I'll see you again in a few months, but in the meantime, I hope that Jollyville Radio inspires you to be involved in your community, to see beyond us versus them, to take deep breaths of fresh air, and to help people, to take care of them, to make lasagna, to pet cats, to see what's going on in your community, and just to be kind. I'm really glad that you and I both live in Jollyville, and I'll see you soon. Until then, I hope you'll enjoy this very special Community Beat double feature. Cheers!
Hello, this is Viri Marin with Chattanooga Community Fridge. You're listening to Jollyville Radio on KGBR, and everyone eats.
Hey, this is Community Beat with Matt Wade of Jollyville Radio. I'm here today with Viri Marin, organizer for the Chattanooga Community Fridge. Welcome, Viri, and please tell our audience, what is a community fridge?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. A community fridge is a fridge for the community. They are outside and they are stocked from the community for the community with fresh produce, different types of milk, cheeses, etc., and they are available 24/7 for our community.
How do you maintain your community fridge that you've helped bring into existence?
The whole thing, it's community fridge, so it's from the community for the community, right? So it's maintained by donations from the community, whether that be monetary or someone comes up and drops off food. So that's one way. We partner up with different people too, like different organizations as well that do food drives. And sometimes, they have extra food that has not been picked up. So then they come and drop off that food at the fridge. So, it takes all of us. So we try and partner up with as many people as we can to keep these fridges full for our community.
So that includes actual businesses that will donate food and they'll just bring it in the fridge?
Yeah, we'll have different businesses. We've worked with a couple breweries and coffee shops here in Chattanooga that also do food drives. We'll have different people businesses do for Giving Tuesday. We got a lot of donations as well. And we are really excited because we will be opening the 3rd fridge soon. And with that just means, now we have 3 fridges we need to keep up with. But we have a lot of people lined up for food drives and food pickups. So
did I hear you right? You have multiple fridges around Chattanooga?
Yeah, we have 2 so far. We have one in Highland Park and one in Clifton Hills. They're about 15 minutes away from each other. And we have the 3rd one coming up soon in the next month.
That's so interesting because the neighborhood next to mine in Los Angeles is also called Highland Park.
It's a common name. It's pretty common. When I type it out on the maps, it's Highland Park this or Highland Park this.
This isn't necessarily relevant to the interview, Viri, but my partner Veronica also helps manage a community fridge in our neighborhood in Los Angeles.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can imagine like a city as big as Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We have many different fridges, per neighborhood. So it's great that we also have a strong volunteer base that helps support them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't even imagine. I'm like doing Chattanooga and I can't even imagine LA. So you would need like little subgroups kind of.
Yeah. Basically it's very decentralized.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
No, you're good.
What inspired you to start the community fridge?
Yeah. Like many of us, during 2020 which was like such a game-changing year for a lot of us. I kind of was very inspired by community taking care of community. And I've always been very passionate about food social justice programs. So that to me was just a no-brainer. And so I started looking into free 99 fridge, in Atlanta, and seeing how they worked and, how they did things. And these fridges are run by an incredible woman. Her name is Letitia, and she doesn't stop. I mean, she goes for her community. She goes hard for her community. And it was really inspiring. And so I was like, we need one in Chattanooga. Like, why don't we have one here kind of thing? And so I started talking about it with a couple of people, and a couple of people that had not heard of community fridges yet were kind of like, what, a fridge outside? That sounds kind of odd, but okay. And then once they saw it come together, it was kind of like, why have we not done this? Also, the beauty of the fridge is that it's available 24/7. So people can come in and take what they need or drop off what they can whenever. And also different fridges all around focus on different things or have their own set of rules. These fridges focus a lot on fresh produce for our community, which can be something that can be, very hard to access if you're facing food insecurity in your household.
Right. Like I can imagine Chattanooga, like pretty much anywhere in America has its share of food deserts, and fresh produce is probably pretty welcome in some communities. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my camera just so you can see me. I'm a real person. Hi.
Okay. Hi.
I just felt weird to Michael's point that you couldn't see me, but I'm actually taking some fresh produce to town right now in my kitchen, which is cool. Why I have the camera off, because I thought it was a little distracting. But
that's funny. Okay, cool.
Attention. Yeah. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. So anyways, I saw from the your Instagram page, which I recommend to anyone to check out, that there's some really awesome art on these community fridges.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to artists for help, or did that kind of happen organically?
Yeah. It was really important that our fridges, were inviting to our community. Because the beauty of this isn't charity, this is mutual aid. So we wanted this space to be very inviting and welcoming, and a big part of community can be art, and so having these fridges painted was definitely a dream. And if you Google community fridges, you'll see tons of different artwork on different fridges, which is really cool to see. You could scroll for hours. But the first fridge, actually, we had someone reach out. His name is Will. He's awesome. And he is an artist here in Chattanooga. And he reached out wanting to, volunteer his time and skills to the fridge. And so we got together and, we talked about what the fridge represents. And he did an incredible job. I mean, this fridge in Highland Park is decorated with fruits and vegetables. It kind of looks like a garden. And then he has like everyone eats in English, todos comen in Spanish, written above. And it looks very beautiful. So Will, he's awesome. And we were so grateful to work with him. And then for the second fridge, we ended up talking to another artist. Her name is Carson, and she's incredible as well. And this fridge is beautiful because it's just like a ray of sunshine, and it's got tons of like fruits and vegetables around it. And it says, Chattanooga Community Fridge, free food for all, in Spanish and in English. And so they're both very inviting, and we feel very lucky to have been able to work with these artists. So
do you have someone lined up for the third fridge?
Not just yet. The host for this fridge, I talked to her, and she told me that, I asked her, I said, do you have anyone in mind that you think that would be great for this fridge, for this community? And so we're kind of going back and forth, because I also, want to be able to, whenever we have a host, let us use their space for a fridge. If they have any ideas of how they want this fridge to look like, I love to take that in consideration. So we're still chatting about the details of that.
That makes a lot of sense. I guess it wouldn't work if you didn't have people who are willing to have these fridges on their property. So
yeah,
totally. How did you find some folks who are willing to chip in that way?
So the first fridge was that's the baby, right? Like that's the first one. And that's the one where I wrote a proposal out, and I took it to Terry, who was the director of the St. Andrews Center, which is where our first fridge is located. And, I spoke to him about this fridge and what it means and how it works. And we were very fortunate because we already had so much noise and support around this fridge. And I had applied for a grant for this first fridge before speaking to him, and we got it, which was exciting. And so having all of that support behind it definitely helped be able to kind of vision what the fridge would look like there. And so after speaking with him, he, helped us figure out exactly where he think it would be great to put it and what it would look like, and making sure that we involved him as much as we could in the process, because this is his fridge too. It's my fridge, your fridge, everyone's fridge. And he's been an incredible host. I mean, he comes by and checks in on it, texts me, about it, takes the trash out on it. He's definitely one of our greatest hosts and volunteers. So we're really excited. Sorry. I was going to just say, from there, or the second fridge, we actually got someone reached out to us to place the second fridge in Clifton Hills. And then for the third fridge, someone reached out to us for that as well. So, yeah.
That's so cool. And again, just from your social media, it looks like it's really grown into something much more than just a fridge. You've had a block party, you did a bingo fundraiser, you've got another event, Holidays and Handlebars, that looks really cool. And now you have merch as well, which is just so incredible. So I'm just so impressed with what you were able to build. And did you have any previous experience before with nonprofits or grant writing?
Well, yes. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for saying all those kind words about our page. I can tell you that it takes the community. There's no way I could be able to do this by myself. When it comes to the merch, we've had an incredible graphic designer, Caitlin, completely donate all of the designing for that. And we have incredible volunteers that work with us on ideas to fundraise and our social media. And then we're able to partner with some amazing organizations to do events like Handlebars and Holidays, where we were able to have the fridge out there so people knew about it, but also give away bikes. So it was really great. I did, before working on the fridge, I worked at a nonprofit. It is a shelter for domestic abuse, and so I was able to help out with grants there. But that was about all the experience that I had. But
this is something that you don't necessarily have to come from a formal nonprofit background to chip in. Like, this is something that anyone can contribute to. Yes,
100%. You do not have to. I mean, I can. Like, if you in your community, you feel like, a community fridge could be used there, go ahead and do it and get the community behind you. It's not anything that, anyone with nonprofit background, just like you said, needs to do. Boots on the ground and organizing and getting your community behind it are truly just the things that you need. So
So you mentioned with the community fridge that it's not charity, it's mutual aid. Can you explain the difference between the two?
Yeah, I guess the short, explanation would be the beauty about mutual aid is that this is, food that I would eat, that you would eat, that I'm dropping off for you. It's from the community for the community. When I say it's not charity, it's mutual aid, I mean, we're not coming in here, saying like, here, come take these boxes of food, you need them or anything like that. It's just a community leaving food for others. And my hope is that when you open that fridge, you feel loved by your community and you also feel taken care of.
That's fantastic. And I'll wrap up by asking you, where can people learn more about the Chattanooga Community Fridge?
Yeah, we have our Instagram. It's Chattanooga Community Fridge. It's at Chattanooga Community Fridge. And then you can also go online to chatcommunityfridge.org. And you can find out a little bit more about what the Community Fridge here in Chattanooga is doing and what the next steps are for more fridges here in Chattanooga.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much and stay safe.
It was great meeting you. Thank you so much.
It was good meeting you. Yeah, bye.
Everybody say Jollyville at radio, and you can Google the show. Check out the website, definitely make it funky, y'all. Jollyville. Funny skits and jokes in every episode wraps up with community B. One more time, say Jollyville at radio, and you can Google the show.
Hello, this is Robert Radmer. I'm the conductor of the Central Texas Medical Orchestra, and it has been a tremendous delight to talk to the folks at Jollyville Radio. I think you should go ahead and listen to some of these guys talk. They're having a great time. You've been listening, you are listening to Jollyville Radio on KJVR. Hang on. Am I here?
I can hear you.
Did I do it? Am I on?
Yeah, we can't see your face. We don't need to, but
My face. Wait a second. I wasn't ready for that. Let's try this.
This is Jollyville Community Beat with UncleASAR, turning the spotlight on good people doing great work in the real world. We are talking with Dr. Robert Radmer, and Michael didn't put doctor on your name, so
I'll take it.
That's his fault. He is with the Central Texas Medical Orchestra. And the first thing that comes to mind when I read that medical orchestra is that both of those groups have instruments. So I'm thinking, does the medical orchestra, are you playing medical instruments or what's going on there?
We try to work those in, if you...
Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm
Okay.
You got me. I was just about to give you a long discourse on those things they check your heart with. If you turn around and blow on them, it sounds a little bit like that shofar, that Jewish horn. It's very high pitched and very quiet. But if you do it into a microphone, and it can be an effective musical. Anyway, no, we don't really use a lot of musical.
Okay. Real instruments.
The orchestra is about raising money for area medical nonprofits, generally small ones. And so we try to find one that we partner with and do a little, promotion of both organizations, ours and theirs. And then we give a concert and we sell tickets, and 50% of the ticket price or something goes, to be honest, I'm not in charge of the money part of this. But a substantial part of the ticket price goes to giving back to this group. So raise a little bit of money at the same time as making some music. And there are medical people in the orchestra, although it's not limited to medical people. The original idea was we'd have all doctors. There are doctors' orchestras in large towns, but we're not quite like that.
What type of organizations do you raise money for?
Well, I mean, it could be battered women's shelters, or it's relatively the kind of the far edges of things. And homeless shelters, things like this. Medical, nobody's doing operations based on our, but we kind of just help to support people do things. It's pretty low key. I was thinking about having a long list of what we had, or the complete list, or even a list of what we do. And then some of that didn't get done as I sat down here to walk into this thing. And now you're going to ask me what we do, and I really don't have any idea. But there you go. Yeah,
So Doc, the organizations you raise money for, they're all located in Central Texas, or did you go outside of Texas, or
in Central Texas, in the area, right? Within it's just the very narrow area. I mean, not just right around Austin. I can't believe I can't think of any of these things. May I just go across to my catalog back here and get some information? Thank you.
Absolutely.
I've been trying to see if that's an instrument back there behind you.
I have all kinds of stuff. Let's see. I've got a guitar right over here. I've got a wall of instruments to this side. There's books and stuff there. No, that's enough of that. Okay, so here's my 3-ring binder of our programs.
Okay.
And so I'll just read, for instance, the first one that pops up. It looks like we did Austin Pets Alive, the Capital Area Dental Foundation. This is 1 year's worth of so we do 4 concerts. Hospice Austin, and the Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. So that was 1 year's worth of 4 concerts that we partnered with, and we've been doing this for about a dozen years, something like this.
Oh wow! Do you have the same members, or you rotate people out?
We have some people who are similar, but there is turnover. People move away, people move in. Almost no one ever dies. Classical musicians never die. Anyway, so that doesn't happen, but people do move in and out, and so and then of course the pandemic, another whole story. We had to stop doing large gala concerts. The idea with the gala, we'd have a large reception afterward. People could meet the artists, and we'd have an imported classical artist, a violin player, or a cello player, a trumpet player, or something, and then we would end with 15 or 20 minutes of a local pop artist, pop-ish, jazz-ish, and I'll just read a year's worth of those. This is Terry Hendricks, Lloyd Maines and Terry Hendricks would come in and play 3 or 4 songs that we would accompany with. We hired a arranger, and we'd pick the songs, and all of a sudden there are some guitar players and they're singing and the orchestra's playing, and it's very much fun. It's a gala. It's meant to be exciting and entertaining, and then we take a big bow. Maybe they would do an encore by themselves, and then we break up and go out into the lobby and have a nice array of desserts, possibly, maybe something a little bit more dinnery, a little bit something relatively small, and then everyone could talk and meet, and the musicians would go out there, the audience would meet, the famous stars would go out there, the violin soloist would be out selling CDs and stuff like this, and I'd be, of course, wandering around, not talking to anyone because I'm kind of a loner.
But that sounds like a lot of fun, man. You got the big name people and the community people, and you got food and desserts and all that kind of thing.
It really was a lot of fun. The pandemic made it stop because we're getting large groups of people. So what we've been doing, we took a year off. We've done this season, starting in the fall, playing just with string players with masks. Oh, so wow. No wind players, no singers, and then no gala, no reception, no fancy artists. Just do the concert. People come, listen. Thank you very much. A little applause, and we all go home. So we've started to go back, and when it's time to do the big thing, we'll start that again.
So you were still able to raise money just with the string?
No, we didn't do that either. We took the pandemic, broke up all that. So we just started to get the musicians back together to learn how to play again, that kind of thing. And then just give concerts, just they have the ideas. And it's pretty much classical music now. Just because there's all that exciting, entertaining kind of stuff has gone out the window or it's gone behind the door and it's hiding out there. It'll come back. But in the meantime, we're just trying to learn how to play together again and have some sense of a musical organization. And then maybe by next fall, certainly, we're thinking, I'm dreaming, maybe we have a concert. Our last one this season is April 30th. Mm-hmm. And suppose there was no COVID in Austin on April 1st. We could do a thing, a good big concert in a month. Okay. So that's still a possibility. Okay. It's not likely, but it's possible.
Now, tell us how many I can't even say the word.
I know.
Instruments.
I have this effect on people. I'm a college teacher. After people come to my class, they can't even say the word instrument. Well, so an orchestra has basically a big chunk of string players. So you got violins, and they're in two sections, first violins and second violins. So it kind of goes down in order of sound, pitch. So the first violins play the high music, the second violins play the next step. The viola players, and I'm a viola player, so I'm a little partial to the inner voices of the viola, the orchestra. So they're the heart of the orchestra, the violas. Mm-hmm. And then come the cellos, and then the basses, the stand-up guys in the back with the huge instruments. So There's 5 string voices with quite a few players on each voice, on each part. There might be 8 first violins and 8 second violins, and down to a couple of basses. And then there's generally winds by 2 flutes, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons. So that's 8 woodwinds. And then some brass players, say 3 trumpets, 3 trombones, and tuba. This would be usual. 3 trumpets and 3 trombones and tuba. But again, you're starting from the top of the high register going down to the bottom. And so that's 8 woodwinds. And then in there someplace, nobody knows whether they're brass or wind instruments are what used to be called the French horns. We just call them horns now.
They're brass, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they're brass, but they like to think of themselves as woodwind players. It's
because they're French, right?
It's an ego. Yeah, we don't know why. Certain things are classical music just has strange things about it. So we kind of given up the word French, but if you look them up, they're still called French horns. Anyway, so they're at the connecting between their sound is much softer. How does one say? More rounded sound than a trumpet. It doesn't have the power. It's more connected. So they're the kind of the heart of the orchestra in the sense they blend the loud and the bright brass with the more calm or transparent string sound. They blend all this together. So anyway, we got a bunch of string players and then 8 woodwind players, more or less, and then about a dozen brass players.
And how many is that total?
I pounded on the table again. My apologies.
Speaking of pounding, I think you forgot a section.
Oh, I'm not. You're exactly right. I'm not done yet. Exactly. Well, that was a close one. Okay. Sorry. One more thing. There's the percussion. The percussion instruments. The timpani and snare drummer and maybe the chimes player. And then, of course, for our things, we have people playing bird whistles and all kinds of stuff. Percussion players do all kinds of stuff. They're the characters of the orchestra. They get to do everything. Anyway, so what are we talking about? 45 or 50 players, something like that.
Wow.
For us. So, like the Austin Symphony probably has maybe 80 players, the same chunks, the same sort of instruments, but 80. So they might have 40 string players, we might have 25 or something like that. But otherwise, they would have the same 2 flutes, 2 oboes, clarinets. Sometimes they might have an extra one, 3 flutes, 3 oboes, but the same groupings of instruments and the same 4 French horns, the same 3, because they're plenty loud, you don't need any more of those, and 3 trombones and a tuba, you don't need any more of those, 3 trumpets. And then the percussion, 3 or 4, sometimes a 5. And maybe there's a harp player, that kind of thing. But a major symphony will have about close to 100 players on stage. You go to the Philadelphia Orchestra, the New York Symphony, the Chicago Symphony, this kind of thing, 90-ish all the time, and then some extra players.
So it sounds a lot like Jollyville. We have a lot of people on the payroll, so when the check comes, the payout is really small.
That you have that in common with all of classical music.
Okay.
When the check comes, it's really small.
we don't get a check. I don't know if Michael told you we work for free. That's the motto. Work for free.
Exactly. And the way to get around that is to say we don't work. Let me remind you what musicians do called play.
Okay. So what would you call what we do as podcasters?
Well, I'm here to learn. You know, if you would tell me, then I could go tell my friends. I'm ignorant. I don't know if I've done this. Is my first interview on Zoom.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've done some radio and TV kinds of stuff, you know, face to face with lighting and all the weird things. But this is the first time I sat in my own room and talked to people from Wyoming. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm kind of on a high here. This is very exciting.
That's right, and it's all on Jollyville Radio. Here's something that'll make you laugh. We call Michael the maestro.
Meaning only UncleASAR.
Exactly. I don't want to say I'm speechless. But I'm having trouble thinking of something to say. Oh, let me say this. I think Michael deserves that title. More people should call him that.
Okay, I'm into that.
There you go. So if you could spread that around.
Absolutely. It's been in a couple of episodes. You know, we call him the maestro in a couple of episodes. Yeah, I'm responsible for that. I take full responsibility.
Well, sometimes in orchestras, there's a certain kind of cynicism that pervades. The classical musicians have gone to music school since they were little kids and have all these teachers telling them stuff, and they're always being told it's wrong. And then they get to play in a famous orchestra, and there's a big famous conductor making a ton of money telling them they're doing it wrong. This happens all the time. This is it. And so the word maestro in classical music sometimes get distorted into the word maestro. Oh.
We run a clean show here, man.
What, did I go over the line? I didn't. You know.
Well, he's the maestro. He'll decide what he does.
Exactly. You just say the word. Look, here's
I don't want to give anybody any ideas either.
Well, that's true. But let me say this now. You just call him maestro, and he'll hear what he wants to hear.
Right.
As I say, you can hear that as you wish. It's up to you. You can interpret these things. So, now, is there anything else I can tell you about the Central Texas Medical Orchestra? We raised a little money. We're taking a pandemic hiatus. We're going to start again when we can. I think you should come. I bet I could I know the guy who has the +1 list.
Right.
You buy a ticket and you get another person in for free.
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay.
And I could even get you maybe onto forget it. Don't even buy a ticket. You're friends of Dr. Radmer. There's a list like that too.
Okay. I want to be on that list.
Okay.
So let's tell everybody, how do we find the Central Texas Medical Orchestra?
You could ctmo.org. ctmo.org will get you there, or just type in all those other letters, Central Texas Medical. It shows up, and there's a picture of me, of course, and then a listing of what we do, a discussion, and then the past concerts and links to video things that are uploaded on the web. We have a very good engineer, records most of our concerts, and he's in video and puts things together to make things look good and sound good, and so CTMO, and it's not an elaborate website, but it's pretty good basic stuff if you want to find out who we are and when our next concert will be, who the soloists will be, who the featured local artists will be, that kind of thing. It's all on there.
Okay. Dr. Radmer, thank you so much for coming on to Community Beat, Jollyville Radio, and we wish you the best of the best.
Well, it's been a tremendous pleasure, and I hope I didn't cross too many lines.
No, absolutely not. This has been Jollyville Community Beat with UncleASAR, turning spotlight on good people doing great work in the real world. And dig this, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. Peace.
Good, man. Thank you so much. Have a good night.